learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So today's Saturday, and as you know, I don't do much work on Saturdays, but today I had a pretty exciting thing happen. Carolyn was on Facebook Marketplace. She was able to find for $30 a new canner. Well, it's not new, it's used, but so we got this canner here, just like the one that we got. And we also got a water bath canner, just like the one we already have. So we made out like a bandit today. Look at this. Water bath. And we got some jars down here. So you can't hardly beat that. So we had to drive about 50 miles to go get those. It's in the same town that we get our meat chickens from. 30 bucks. Now you figure a new canner was $70. And the water bath was probably, I'm gonna say $25, I'm guessing on that. And then the jars was quite the bonus. Now they're wide mouth jars, and I prefer small mouth jars because I got more tattler lids, so I have to order more tattler lids for the wide mouth. So quite the exciting day. And today's Saturday, like I said, I normally take Saturdays off. So today I'm not gonna do much. Still gotta work on the chicken coop, or the chicken run, I should say. I still gotta get the 14 gauge wire put on that. Oh, that's my security alarm, sorry. So once I get that put on, then that'll be done. All I gotta do is make the little chicken coop that I'm gonna make for the meat birds. And then we should be good to go for the chickens, so we can get the meat birds out here in another week or two. They're growing quick. So Carolyn watered the garden yesterday, and then wouldn't you know it, today it rained. So I got to fill our buckets, even though we don't really need to fill them. But that's all right. We got plenty of water. You know why? Because I repaired the well. Please forgive me, I'm still working with this new camera gimbal stick. I also have this new camera here. It's a GoPro. So we'll see how it works. And I got a lot of practicing to do, so please forgive me. But I'm gonna fill the buckets here. If it wasn't on the gimbal stick, I would splash it with water because the GoPro is waterproof. But I did want to talk to you today about vices. Carolyn and I do very well financially. Now, in my past, I smoked, Carolyn smoked. We've both had the ability to drink in our past. So we spent a lot of money on vices. But as we grew older, we realized, you know, these are just terrible. And after I got my divorce and she got her divorce and we met, we both worked together on dropping our vices. Now I do still have one vice. I like to drink my coffee. I say a pot of coffee a day, but I doubt if it's that much. I got one of these percolators, campfire percolators that you buy in Walmart. They're aluminum things. And we drink 2 pots of those a day. We use Folgers, so I would say that in 2 weeks, we drink 1 can of Folgers, or whatever on sale. We might drink Maxwell House or whatever. I think right now we got Maxwell House. But a lot of people will go to Starbucks and spend $5 a day, and I spend $8 every 2 weeks. And we get a lot more coffee with our coffee. Although it's still a vice. Now I have quit drinking coffee in the past. When I was really broke in 2008, I gave it up for a while. It's terrible. You get headaches, you're tired, but you can get through it. But I made a video the other day where I told you made another video where I was making a joke. And in that joke, I was talking about drinking. And a lot of people pointed out that might be why so many people got mad at me, was I was joking about people's addictions. And I guess I didn't think about it at the time, but addictions are a serious issue. Vices. I know when I was smoking, this is what was incredible. The way I quit smoking was, I used one of those vapes. Now I know that the vapes aren't good for you either. But at the time I used a vape, and I only used it I think for a year. I smoked most of my life. I remember the first time I smoked, and I know my mother is going to be watching this video, so surprise, Mom. But the first time I smoked, I was 9 years old. I went out in the backyard and had a cigarette. Oh, it was terrible. But at the same time, it was wonderful. And I'm pretty sure I had an addiction since that time. Cigarettes, nicotine is one of the most addictive things you can have. There's other things that I'm not going to talk about right now, but there's other things that are more addictive. But cigarettes are quite addictive. Nicotine, I should say. And what's the point of it? I understand how powerful the addiction is. I mean, I had it. And I remember when I was trying to quit, I was reading about all the junk that was in cigarettes. And I thought to myself, now wait a minute. When I was smoking, I was convinced that a lot of this stuff they were talking about, how bad cigarettes were, was manufactured information. They were making stuff up just so I would quit. But then when I actually started looking at the ingredients, it was terrible, some of the stuff they were putting in it. Formaldehyde, and I don't remember what all was in it. And I thought, it's not the tobacco that's causing cancer. It's all the chemicals they're putting in it. I've been totally off cigarettes now, probably, 6 years. I do know that cigarettes have caused me a real issue. I have trouble breathing. I'm hopeful that I don't get cancer, but it's quite probable that I could. And for what? What was the purpose? And then I spend, what, $30 a week? I don't know, I smoked a pack and a half a day, I don't remember. But it was expensive, it was a very expensive habit. Then you got alcohol, and let's say that's $15 a day you drink, and it just really adds up. All these little vices. I remember one time I knew someone who I think had a food addiction. I remember someone said, hey, there's ice cream sandwiches in the freezer. I actually saw this person's eyes dilate. I understand the drive towards the addiction. That being said, having quit all my addictions except for coffee, which I think I could do. I've done it before, like I said. It's nice to be able to sit outside with a cup of coffee. I'm not making excuses. I still drink coffee, you're right, but I don't go to Starbucks to go get my $5 fix. We talk about living the dream, but one of the things that I think does stop people from being able to live the dream is the vices. The vices is more important than the dream. I was talking to Carolyn, and she was talking about her ex-husband. He drank very heavily. He was talking about somebody, and they had a nice house, and he said, I don't understand that. He says, you and I both have a job, and he's the only one that's got a job, and they got a nice house, and we live in a trailer. I don't understand why we can't do better than them. And Carolyn says, it's because we drink so much. And he was violently upset for a week, she said. That she would suggest that the alcohol is the problem with their finances or their relationship or any of it. The addiction actually tries to keep you addicted. And so I'm not anybody of special talents or anything, but I think the key to me getting off cigarettes was when I started losing my teeth. Now, I lost this tooth up here in the 90s, and I contributed that to some sort of infection or something. But now I'm older, I realize maybe that was a cigarette problem. But this bottom tooth, that was quite incredible to me. I started getting this tar buildup on my bottom teeth, just out of the blue, just one day, black tar. And I would have to scrape it off. Toothbrush wouldn't get it off or anything. I had to buy metal tools, metal teeth tools to scrape it off. And my ex-wife would lay me down on the floor and she would scrape that off on the inside. And so I thought this was ridiculous. I started looking at alternatives. Well, fortunately at the time, vapes were really making a big scene. So I went out and bought a vape, and it didn't really save much in cost, but it did help me get off of it. And I think within a year, I was able to quit smoking. Now about this time, my ex-wife left me and I met Carolyn, and she decided she wanted to quit with me. And she was talking today, I don't remember this, but she was talking today that she felt like she was more addicted to the vape than the cigarettes, because she was always carrying the vape around. It was always in her hand. And she went down to like 1% nicotine, and she just couldn't let go of it. And finally, I guess she said, I don't remember this, but today she said, it wasn't until me, told her and reminded her, showed her that she was always carrying that around. And that she was more addicted to the physical touch of it, gotta have it in my hand, than she was with the actual nicotine addiction. So these addictions are very powerful, but they also consume us. It consumes us from being able to enjoy life and living the dream, whatever your dream is, because you can't afford it. You know, her ex-husband, the dream was a big house, but he couldn't ever get off the alcohol to afford it. My dream is to own a piece of property and raise chickens, not have to go and work with a full-time employer, having a boss. I can work for myself. And here it is. I've given up the vices. Carolyn's given up the vices. We can live off minimal amount of money, still be happy, and still have everything we need because we got rid of the vices. And then we start looking at other aspects of our lives, such as food. I know there's a lot of people that say, Carolyn and I cannot live off $200 in food a month. But we don't need all the sodas, snacks, the ice creams. So I hope I can inspire you to take a look at your vices and to see if they really take that big of a priority in your life so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.